I say, I'm trying to tell y'all about this kid. I told y'all about David Benavidez years in him. I saw him. I saw it in him. I knew it. Let me tell you something. Canelo, he has no choice but to fight David. Is now the mandatory. And if the WBC don't order Canelo versus David Benavidez, then I mean, for real, boxing is just, this will be a big hit for boxing. This will be a black eye for boxing. David Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez, Allegiant Stadium. Mark Davis said he was looking for a particular fight. That's the fight that he could put at Allegiant Stadium. David Benavidez proved his star power, and then him embracing Mike Tyson, the guy that gave him the name the Mexican Monster, that said a lot, and that was a good look for boxing. Because at the end of the day, David Benavidez, I done told people about, they talked to him on camera, off camera. And this is why I'm so high on David Benavidez. Every time I met the dude, he's always giving me an interview. The dude is the truth. The people must demand David Benavidez versus Canelo. We're tired of seeing Canelo fight dudes like Charlo. This makes Canelo look even worse. He had no business fighting Jermell Charlo. So now let's see if the WBC is going to stay true to their word and order Canelo versus David Benavidez. I don't want to see no other fight next for Canelo except David Benavidez. Canelo is out of excuses. For real. The walls are closing in. He been ducking this kid. Canelo should have fought David 2 years ago. I would have had a chance. David Benavidez, I told y'all, just like I was trying to tell that dude that I was on World Combat Sports Channel with, that Canelo is going to get destroyed. David Benavidez is going to mop Canelo. He's going to mollywop him. Nobody has ever did that to Demetrius Andrade. Busted him up, lumped him up, overwhelmed him. And David Benavidez is definitely officially a pound-for-pound fighter. He's definitely a pound-for-pound fighter. He's one of the best on the planet. He definitely made the pound-for-pound list. My thing is, can anybody beat this dude at 168? So now, Canelo, he has no choice. And it's time to apply pressure on Canelo to give us the fight that we've been clamoring for. The fans deserve this damn fight. No, need to make this fight. Remember what he said? Nobody beats this version of Canelo. Okay, well, fine. Then no reason for you not to sign a contract to fight David Benavidez. Canelo is out of excuses. We don't want to hear this no more. We don't want to see nobody in the ring other than Canelo versus David Benavidez. We don't want to see Jaime Munguia. We don't want to see him fight Charlo. I hope Canelo doesn't try to pull a fast one and try to fight Jaime Munguia and then try to fight Jermall Charlo and then retire. Or he vacates the belt. And they better be glad I wasn't there, because I was definitely, wait a minute. I'm going to apply tremendous pressure on Mauricio Sullivan in 2 weeks. I'm going to run that, not literally run up on him, but I am going to approach him, because he will be in attendance for Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis, because that's for the WBC. And I'm going to apply pressure. I'm not going to disrespect him. I'm going to say, are you going to stay true to your word and order Canelo versus David Benavidez? David Benavidez is the mandatory. He's the mandatory. Look, Canelo, at the end of the day, you say you a legend. This is why dudes like the great ones like Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, and a couple of other people, Marco Antonio Barrera, raise question marks about you. Because at the end of the day, you owe it to the fans. You say you a warrior, well, get in the ring with David Benavidez. I'll swear I will go to that fight, credential or no credential. That's real talk. I will pay to see that fight. I will go to that damn fight. That's real talk. I've been telling people about David Benavidez for years. I saw it when he fought Darrell. I told you he was going to get better and better. Like I said before, this is no knock on Demetrius Andrade. It just says a lot about David Benavidez, and it just shows how good this kid is. Nobody has ever I mean, it was damn near like a gentleman's domination. Demetrius Andrade took the first couple of rounds, but then David Benavidez started to find the range. And it just goes to show you that David Benavidez got an IQ too. He's just not a fighter that just fights off instinct. He has ring generalship. He started to find the range and he started to pot shot. He started to hit Andrade with body shots. He was just too much for him. Like I said, it ain't no knock on Demetrius Andrade. There's no knock on him. It's just that he ran into David Benavidez. Demetrius Andrade is still an awesome fighter. For the most part, he'll probably beat anybody at 168 or at least have a chance against anybody at 168, any 168 pounder. Now, I don't know if he could beat David Morale because that's another dude. Now, if I'm David Morale, I would wait this out. See what happens with Canelo and David Benavidez. Stay busy, get some fights in, and then you could have another super fight with David Benavidez. That'll be another super fight. But I was real impressed with David Benavidez. Like I said before, how can you not be a fan of this dude? Just like I'm a fan of Arthur Beterbiev, because whenever you see those two fight, you're going to get action. You're going to get action. It's going to be an action-packed fight. No, no. You see, you're not listening. I said David Morale needs to wait it out. He has time. He has some time. Nah, he not beating. Listen, not right now. Nobody beating David. Nobody is beating David Benavidez. Nobody at 168 can beat that kid. Nobody. When I say nobody, not even Canelo. Now let's see what happens with Canelo. He said nobody beats this version of Canelo, even though he needed a dude that came up 2 weight classes to boost his confidence. I told you he was shaken by that fight with John Ryder. He tried to pretend, but he was shaken by that fight with John Ryder. He fought Charlo to boost up his confidence. And maybe he will have some false sense of hope. But every time you ask Canelo about David Benavidez, he starts to sort of like stutter. He needs to say, okay, you know what? We're going to make the fight. If Canelo fights David Benavidez, Canelo will be the underdog. David Benavidez should be the favorite. Do I think David Benavidez could go all the way up to him? I said that. I said that. The dude is 6 foot. The dude is 6'3". I mean, back in the day, most heavyweights like Larry Holmes and Muhammad Ali, who was like George Foreman. George Foreman was 6'4". Larry Holmes was 6'3.5". Muhammad Ali was 6'2", 6'3". Those were considered tall heavyweights at the time. Yeah, I do think David Benavidez could fight at heavyweight, but it would have to be the right fight. It would have to be the right fight. But I do think he could fight at heavyweight. But right now, he need to conquer 168. He already said he's not fighting at no catch weight. He said he's not fighting at a catch weight. And he said that he plans on going up. If he can get undisputed versus Canelo, he already said that he wants to go up to 168 and fight Bibble. Like I said before, I've been telling people, met the whole Benavidez family, they all cool. They all cool. David is cool. His brother is cool. The daddy is cool. And like I said before, listen, I was watching the fight as a fan and a spectator and as a media dude. But like I said before, I was, I would have been, I was torn because like I said, I'm a fan of David Benavidez. I'm a fan of Demetrius Andrade, but my heart was kind of going with David Benavidez. I kind of had a feeling that David Benavidez was going to win this fight. I thought it might be a little closer than what it was, but I in my mind, my self-conscious had David Benavidez winning this fight. Usually I don't like to make predictions, but, my self-conscious was going with David Benavidez. I thought it would be a little more closer and more competitive, but at the end of the day, that just goes to show you how much David Benavidez has improved as a fighter. How much he's evolved. He's solid on. He's solid on defense, and offense go. I mean, just pure firepower. So, like I said before, um, as fans, we got to call for this fight. Yeah, well, like I said, you started to see the second half of the third round. You started to see David Benavidez find the dude is just incredibly quick. He could find that range once he started getting that that jab slash like lead left, that extended lead right, excuse me. He starts saying, and when he starts landing it, and then when he starts walking you down, okay, he's found the range. He did that with everybody. Let me explain something to you guys, and this is just real talk. Had he not listen, if Caleb Plant wouldn't have asked for that metamorphosis size ring, he would have stopped Caleb Plant. He would have stopped Caleb Plant probably around 5 or 6 rounds. But Caleb Plant asked for that metamorphosis ring that was the size of Great America, that was the size of an amusement park. And no knock on Caleb Plant, but let's just keep it a buck. I'm telling you that right now. And that's why Caleb Plant asked for that gigantic ring. So he could buy himself some time, and he almost got stopped. And that's just real talk. Man, when he got up, you kind of knew the end was near. And then when you seen him walking over to his corner, you kind of just saw it. And kudos to Demetrius Andrade. He didn't make any excuse. You know what I'm saying? He didn't make any excuses. He took his loss like a man. And that's all we asked for. At the end of the day, we don't want to see this stuff that's been going on with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, where you got these goofy ass Errol Spence fans continuing to make excuses from broken rib. It don't matter if Errol Spence had a broken rib or not. It don't matter. He still got his ass whooped. At the end of the day, he agreed to the fight. At the end of the day, for these goofballs to try to downplay what Terrence Crawford did, and that's what I'm saying. Y'all ain't making no excuses for Demetrius Andrade, but yet you guys are attacking a black man, another black man. And that's why, like I said, a lot of you niggas on here is just frauds. Let's just keep it a buck. A lot of y'all is frauds. Listen, we can't knock Demetrius Andrade, because at the end of the day, a lot of people was ducking that dude. People ducked him for years. Canelo ducked him. Triple G ducked him. At the end of the day, you got to give David Benavidez credit for the dude saying, you know what, I'll fight him. David Benavidez was patient. He walked him down. He found his range, and that's just pretty much it. The kid is good. We gotta start. Listen, the kid is good. I ain't listen. Like I said, nothing away from Demetrius Andrade. At the end of the day, stoppage, knockouts happen in fights. At the end of the day, at least Demetrius Andrade had the guts to get in the ring with a dude that everybody was ducking. Everybody was ducking. And like I said, Canelo, he had his chance a couple of years ago. His best chance to get David Benavidez was a couple of years ago. Canelo has no shot versus David Benavidez. He ain't gonna be able to hurt him. David Benavidez is gonna overwhelm Canelo. Canelo is gonna quit on the stance. He's gonna punish Canelo. When Canelo go into that peekaboo, David Benavidez is gonna hit him, rack him to the body. He's gonna make Canelo open. And then he's going to hit Canelo with a jab. What do Canelo have problems with? Dudes that got a jab. And what the hell do David Benavidez got? He got range. He got a jab. He's taller. He's stronger. He's faster. He hits harder. So how the hell is Canelo going to be able to deal with anything like that? I could tell you guys on the real, Canelo's eyes probably bulged somewhere. He probably started speaking in Spanish. He probably was like, "Oh no," and I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is just real talk. If Canelo decides to fight David Benavidez better demand strict, and I mean super strict drug testing. I don't want to see. I don't want to see. And what do Canelo get out of fighting Jamal Charlo? So he gonna bring up another dude from another weight class. He gonna bring Jamal Charlo up to 168 and beat him or fight him. You know how bad Canelo gonna look if he pulls some stuff like that. Canelo can't get away with that no more. He already got away with it with Jamil. Once again, a fight that nobody asked for. And then people were sitting up celebrating Canelo basically bringing a dude up 2 weight classes who hadn't fought in over a year. Like I said, that would be the weakest move that Canelo could ever pull. And I'm telling you right now, Canelo will look like a straight coward. Now, you know, Canelo's minions is going to come defend him, whatever the case may be, but they can't defend him anymore. They can't defend him no more. The fans want this fight. The fans deserve this fight. The fans are clamoring for this fight. These are the type of fights that can keep boxing alive. Canelo owe it to the fans. He don't just owe it to, you know, he don't owe it to the Mexicans. He owe it to everybody. He owe it to boxing, period, to give us the fight that we want to see. That's fine. You know, I'm not going to get involved in that tribalism, the whole Mexican versus Mexican thing, but as a fight fan, I want to see that fight. We all deserve to see that fight. If I can't be in attendance for that fight, I will pay for it. Because, see, that's a fight that's going to draw interest. Canelo versus David Benavidez is going to do big numbers. You want a fight that's going to sell 1 million pay-per-views? You want a fight that you could hold in a football stadium, that you could hold in a Legion Stadium? Well, Mr. Mark Davis, you have your fight now. You said you was looking for a particular fight to have at Allegiant Stadium. Well, there's your fight. Canelo, David Benavidez can fill up Allegiant Stadium. David Benavidez, I'm telling you, he gained a new fan base. When people look at the replay of this fight and look at the highlights of this fight, I'm telling you, they're going to say, yeah, David Benavidez is must-see TV. I know he fought at the Michelob Center. You know, I could tell it wasn't that many people there or not. I have my people that was there, you know, my media brothers, and they told me the fight didn't sell out. Now, the problem is, well, at the end of this fight, come on, Canelo. Enough is enough. You didn't ran from David Benavidez long enough. Pass the torch. Pass the torch. You know, Julio Cesar Chavez, you know, he passed the torch to Oscar De La Hoya. You know, even though Floyd Mayweather refused to pass the torch to any other brothers, but you know, it is what it is. So let's get it. Let's get this fight made. Like I said before, David Benavidez, Canelo, May 2024. We don't want no Jaime Munguia. We don't want Jaime Munguia. We don't want that fight. Nobody cares about that fight. Nobody don't want to see no damn Canelo versus Jaime Munguia. We want to see a fight that actually is going to be an intriguing fight. Canelo is just gonna, you know, he's just gonna have target practice on Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia is not a good defensive fighter. Jaime Munguia is pretty easy to hit. He'll be target practice for target practice for Canelo. See, the thing is, for Canelo to be able to get off shots with David Benavidez, he's gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna literally have to go through the fire because David Benavidez is gonna be trying to put blenders on Canelo. So, you know, like I said before, I've been high on this kid for a few years. And everybody see it. The boy, he's a bad man. He's a bad man. So like I said before, bring on Canelo versus David Benavidez. That fight is going, I'm telling you right now, that fight can get 60,000 people up in Allegiant Stadium. It'll do 1 million pay-per-views. It will spark interest just from boxing fans in general. Even the casual boxing fans, if they promote this fight right, they'll have an interest. And, I will agree with Stephen A. Smith on this part. Just like I've been sold on David Benavidez, Stephen A. Smith been sold on David Benavidez, and he definitely, once again, David Benavidez definitely cracked the top 10 pound per pound. He is officially a pound per pound fighter. Benavidez looks damn near unbeatable. I am so serious. David Benavidez looks unbeatable. That dude looked unbeatable at 168. The man looks unbeatable. I just don't think Canelo at this stage in his career can hang with David Benavidez. Because, Canelo, when he doing all that bobbing and weaving, if David Benavidez can't hit him up top, all David Benavidez is going to do is hit him to the body. And if Canelo try to do that peekaboo, David Benavidez is going to keep hitting him to the body till Canelo opens up, and then he going to start hitting him with that right. Yeah, Canelo will have his moments, but I just think the same thing that happened to Demetrius Andrade will happen to Canelo. I don't think Canelo is going the distance with David Benavidez. I've been trying to tell people, just like I tried to tell that dude, I was trying to tell that dude on World Combat Sports. Try to tell him. I'll try to tell him, man. Try to tell him about this. I'll try to tell him about the kid. The boy is bad. Definitely. But anyway, you guys, appreciate y'all tapping in. I'll be back with more later on. Thank you for tuning in to, the post-fight, live reaction. This your boy Town. Some of y'all in the Bay Area, I'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. I'll see y'all in Frisco, or as some of the dudes in Frisco say, Skull City, Bay Area. This your boy Town. I'm out for now.